And hello, everyone. Welcome to the Coach Harry Show. Thanks for joining us. Kendall, Grayson, Coach Harry, and Dom Dumas, our guests this week.
Just a little bit more than 9,
right?
I think his applause was just a little bit more. I'm getting closer. I'm getting close. Maybe I won't have a guest next week, and I'll probably break even there. So we'll see what happens.
Coach, I always like to just get your thoughts quickly on the weekend. I think it's the first time this year that we've won all 3 games on a weekend. So we get to talk about 3 wins here, which is good. You and I were talking off the air before the show started. Just quickly, what'd you think about these 3 games here?
Well, personally and for the team, it was a great weekend. We went in, we had a big meeting last week. I think I talked on the coaches show. I had a number in mind, where to go, and I didn't want to let the cat out of the bag where it was. And I told the guys that after the game on Sunday, I said, what do you think I wanted? And they said 9. And I said, well, that's where my heart was. I said, but I would have taken 8. And I said, if we got 8, then I said we would be okay. And but trust me, I was pushing for that 9, and we got the 9. And I'm proud of the guys because it's that time of year. And as I said, I asked them to do something, and at times it wasn't pretty. At times I thought it was pretty. And then, as I said, but the main goal this weekend was to get 9 points, and we got the 9 points. So in my heart, and as I said, I know the guys are happy that that's where we're at, and we're still in the hunt.
Yep. Dom, I'll ask you a question here. We have a question and answer segment, so that'll be later in the show. But just something for me, you were here a few years ago. How's it changed? How's it the same? And how is it being back here again?
It's definitely good being back again. I would say kind of the only change really is just personnel on the team. I was here with Cavi and Tucker Firth and guys like that, obviously. So, but they're still familiar faces, and it was great to come back and see those guys again. And it's just it's been awesome.
He really wanted to know if you're still mad at me for trading you 2 years ago. But no, we're glad to have him back.
Yeah.
And, that was a tough season. And as I said, you were here, and your dad's a hockey guy. You're a hockey family, and those things happen. And I know the fans are happy, and I know I am. And as I said, you're a great addition. So it's tough to see you go, but it was really good to see you coming back. So we're happy
Appreciate
for
that.
you.
All right. Well, let's. I guess we can take a break and then go into the first game afterwards. But anything else just on these 3 games here quickly?
Well, it's we've talked about it how important segments are, and like last weekend was a huge one. And I mean, we could have taken some steps backwards if we didn't get what we wanted, and we got our points. And now we're still in the hunt, and that's all we can ask for. I've told the guys, like, if we take care of our business at the end, that there's nothing more we can do. We need some help, or just to break even? As I said, let other teams, maybe not get what they want. But again, if we can stay in the hunt right to the very end and put the pressure on, and as I said, we got 6 games left, 4 at home. We got to take care of our business. So it should be a fun 3 weeks, 6 games, and I'm looking forward to it.
It was an impressive win to start the weekend on Friday. We'll take a break and come back and talk about that game. Thank you.
When you're craving that slow smoke flavor done right here in Winston-Salem, there's only one place to go, Honky Tonk Smokehouse. From tendered pulled pork and fall-off-the-bone ribs to fresh house-made sides, Honky Tonk has it all. Not a meat lover? They've got delicious vegan options too. And when it's time to party, let Honky Tonk Smokehouse handle the catering and event planning. They'll bring the flavor to you. Stop by 145 Jonestown Road and taste why the locals here can't get enough. Honky Tonk Smokehouse.
What are you doing, bub?
Just fixing my chair.
You should call Contract Business Solutions.
Good idea. I'll give them a call.
Proudly serving the Piedmont Triad area for over 17 years, Contract Business Solutions partners with leading manufacturers to create innovative, budget-friendly workspaces. From design and layout to delivery and installation, explore our capabilities at cbsworkspaces.com.
And welcome back to the Coach Harry Show. Kendall, Grayson, Coach Harry, Dom Dumas with us this week. Coach, I mentioned a good start to the weekend, certainly on Friday night. It was a good start to the first period. 3 goals there in the opening frame to kind of set the tone for the weekend and get going. Nate Keeley with a goal, Yuri Pastuka with a goal, John Butita with a goal. They pushed back in the second period. We'll talk about that. But how'd you like your start there on Friday to not only set the tone for that game, but I think the weekend as a whole?
Yeah, I think we knew that if we played our game, after that first period, we'd be in good shape. And it's kind of funny that we played Baton Rouge a couple weeks ago there, and he must watch the coaches show because I talked about the second period being our probably our best period of the year. And we were down there, and then all of a sudden we had a great second period, and he came by and he goes, "You were right, the second period is your best period." And I'm thinking, wow, he's watching the coaches show. So, but a lot of the times when we've really jumped out in the first period, for some reason our second period hasn't been as good as the first period. So you hope you can change that a little bit down the road stretch here. But I started off, as I said, I felt good. I just think we had a lot of energy. We had a lot of we put pressure on them like that, and we got our opportunities and we scored. And I just think there was like the air went out of the balloon a little bit, and it took us a little bit. And the second period there, I talked about the intensity coming out, but as I said, I just don't think we came out with what we. It took us a little longer to regroup, basically. You know what I mean? And still 3-2 going into the third. So yeah, the second period a little disappointing, but as I said, we didn't break. We bent a little bit, but we didn't break.
And how glad were you then to see what we saw in the third period? Season high for goals, total, but also in a single period, scoring 6 goals. It was impressive.
Well, I came in and I told them, we can be better. Like we've got to be better, and we can be better. And we got 20 minutes to win a hockey game, and I think we scored with 15 seconds into it or something like that. It was really quick, and yep. I think that just set the tempo. And I think on their end, they come back, and I think they were hoping that if they could get the next one, they would hang in with us and all that. And then we scored that one, and it just seemed like sometimes those kind of games, once the floodgate opens, it was all the horses were out running, and we took advantage of it.
Yep. Dom, you had an assist on the Chris Mott goal. I always like to ask this question about new players. I know you've been here before, but what's it been like now the last couple of weeks to be back and playing in front of these fans? Friday and Saturday nights when we got good crowds and the place is very energetic as it was this weekend.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, obviously, I remember from my first year there was obviously great crowds every game, and I kind of knew coming back that it would be the same way. But yeah, it's been awesome. I've been welcomed back pretty well.
Yeah. Coach, anything else you'd like to speak about this first game before we move on to the next one?
Yeah, no. As I said, we took advantage of it, and you know what? I told the guys at the end of the second period, if we stick to what we're going to do, we're going to get our opportunities. And I stressed that to them. And I know some guys are probably tired of a lot of the things I say in the dressing room, but that's where we win or lose games. If we stick to, we're going to get our cookies. And that's what I joke about. Everybody wants their cookies. And the only way you're going to get cookies is if you play the game the right way. And if you try to, everybody's always like, well, geez, if I get on this side, I might get that puck to go for a goal. Where on the other side, we're going to get the puck, and if we do that, that's when we're successful. And Saturday or Friday night there, the third period, we came out and played the game the way we should play it, and everybody got their cookies. Yep. And we've got to learn that as a group. That's how we win. We don't win other ways. And I was proud of them. As I said, they stuck to their guns, and everybody got. I think everybody had a point almost, except. Did everybody get a point?
It was across the weekend, yes. Across that game, I mean, it was
almost everybody got a point. So that's and as I said, and then the big cookie was the 3 points, and that's what we're looking for, and that's a great way to start the weekend.
I think that all 3 games were a little bit different in terms of just how they kind of played out, but would you have rather had that game there on Friday to start the weekend where it gave, I think, your players a lot of confidence, or would you rather have opened up with maybe a more tightly contested game? And it was until you broke it out in the third period there.
Yeah, I mean, you like to win a game anyway. You can win, right, but
right.
I don't know if a tightly contested game would have been any different than what we had. As you said, you go into the third period and it's a 3-2 hockey game. Yeah. We get a penalty, they score a goal. Next thing you know, we're not sure what's happening. So up until probably the 22nd mark of the third period, I didn't know which way it was going to go. We were going to have to battle, and then, as I said, the floodgates opened. So, good way to start the weekend, as I said. And then, you and I talked before there. The next game was a little deja vu from Watertown when, we had a big game on Friday, and then Saturday I think we had 22 shots in the second game there and couldn't score a goal. So, so that's what you're always thinking about those things. But no, great game, great way to start the weekend off. And as I said, I know the guys were happy, and you could feel the emotion in the room after that. We've done a good job, but we only got one. And you can't get to where we want to get to if you don't get the first one. And then we have to build as we went on. And as I said, I was happy.
All right, we'll get to the second game after this. Thanks.
Looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate around Winston-Salem and the Triad? Meet Jennifer Sapp, your trusted local realtor. With nearly 30 years of deep experience, Jennifer specializes in everything from historic homes and remodels to investment properties, college town housing, and short sales. She's known for honesty, integrity, and making the process as stress-free as possible. Ready to make your move? Call 336-782-3148 or visit jensapprealty.com today.
Two pillows, endless possibilities. At Cotton & Crate, we make it easy to refresh your home season after season. Our 18x18 and 12x20 pillow sizes pair perfectly with our seasonal collections of interchangeable covers, so you can refresh your style anytime without cluttering up your closet. We're proud to team up with the Twin City Thunderbirds, celebrating hometown spirit and the comfort of home on and off the ice. Thunderbirds fans, enjoy $5 off your order at cottonandcrate.com with the code TBIRDS5OFF. Cotton & Crate. Two pillows, endless possibilities.
Do you want an experience that wakes you up? A place where you can scream to your heart's delight? Go ahead. No one will hear you anyway. That rumble you hear, that growl you feel, that's us. Hell yeah,
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Coach Harry Show. Kendall, Grayson, Coach Harry, Dom Dumas with us. And we'll get into the Saturday game now. Coach just mentioned off of a big win there to get it going on Friday night. You fall behind 1-0 in the first period, and like you said, officially 24 shots on goal, just could not get one there the first period, and then able to score a few times in the second period. Walk us through the first and the second and how that game started to play out for you.
Well, the heart was going a little bit there, because whenever you play a game like that and a goalie goes in and he hadn't played the night before, and someone talked to me about him, and they were like, well, we're not sure how good he is or whatever, and so he's just sitting there playing with house money, and all of a sudden he stops 24 shots, and you're kind of like, maybe this is his moment of glory, and we're not going to score. And we had some great chances, like, if we'd had like 24 shots outside, but I think we probably had at least 12 to 15 like grade A chances to score, and they weren't going in. And that's when those things happen. It's nice that you're getting the opportunities. You think, okay, maybe it's going to break sometime, but that's why playoffs here. We're hopefully we're talking about the playoffs here in a couple weeks. But you get into a playoff game and a goalie stands on his head one night, and that can turn the tide. And it's very hard in 3 games in 3 nights if one goalie steals a game for you. So a little nervous there at the end of the first. I like the way we played. I couldn't, as I said, I couldn't say, well, guys, you didn't do anything. We had 24 shots, and I'm not sure how many they had. They had, you know what I mean? But I just like the way we played, and as I said, we just couldn't score. So, again, don't change. Continue doing what we're doing, and all we need is one again to get back in the game. So it wasn't time to panic yet, but again, you have those things in the back of your mind that that goalie can steal a game for you.
So you get a couple goals there in the second period. Schnapp scores the game-tying goal. Salat gets the go-ahead goal there. Whitey gets a goal in the power play. The power play was, again, I don't know, last month or two has been really good. Yeah. Once again, had a good weekend for you. But Whitey gets up there at 3-1. They get one late, there in the final 6 seconds it was of the period to make it 3-2. And all of a sudden, it's a different kind of game. But here we are, once again, 3-2 going into the third period. And Kramer goes out and gets the insurance goal there at the end for you.
Yeah, I wasn't very happy with the 3-2 goal. Those are the goals you can't give up late in the period, and what we did. But again, we went in the dressing room, and now all you try to do is give yourselves an opportunity, and we gave ourselves an opportunity to win a hockey game, and that's what you ask for. And I always tell the players, if somebody gives you something, don't let it go. Like take advantage of it. And we came out in the third, and I liked our third. And then Kramer scored late in the game there, and kind of solidified it. But I never really felt like. I don't want to say, I know it was close, but it didn't seem like we were in jeopardy of maybe losing that game. As I said, I felt pretty good about the way we were playing. And as I said, when Kramer put that one in to put the nail in the coffin, as a lot of people say, it was good to hear it. And my heart, stopped beating a little bit. So that was good. But as I said, and again, when we're in a situation like we're in, it's not so much that win that night, it's that 6 points now. Now we've got that 6 points, and we had our meeting on Tuesday, I think, like that. So the only thing I've been thinking about is a certain number, and for 5 nights you're like, we got to get there, we got to get there, we got to get there, and then when we finally got there, I was like, now we can relax for a little bit, and now we got about 12 hours, and we have to go back and try and get that extra 3 points. So it was good to see. As I said, I was proud of the guys the way they responded and took care of business.
Dom, you got an assist on the Jacob Schnapp goal. What's it been like, coming to this team now the last couple of weeks and being in a true fight for the playoffs, where every single game, this he said it before, this is our playoffs right now. What's that been like for you as a player and your teammates going into every single night, knowing that this is essentially a win or go home type of mentality this late in the season?
It's been good. It's been a little bit of a learning curve. Definitely. Almost every play matters, right? So just knowing that, you play a little bit harder and think a little bit more about, where's my guy behind me, things like that. But as in terms of on the team and stuff, I think it's brought us closer, faster, with that big trade coming in. So we've been able to bond a little bit quicker and know what we want to do and what we want to accomplish.
That sense of urgency, I think everyone's realizing that, like as he just said, one play, it could be in the first period, and you make a mistake, or you're not on the right side of the puck, or you do something wrong at the 12-minute mark of the first period. That could be the game changer. And that's how important games are right now for us. This isn't game 2 and 3 where that play in the and I know some guys, it's like, well, it's the first period or something. That could win or lose the game. That's how important these games are. This is playoff hockey, and as I said, guys are learning that's what we gotta. That's our mentality right now, and we're running with it.
Anything else you'd like to say about the Saturday game?
Well, as I said, we got our 6 points, and we're very happy to leave. And but again, quick turnaround. No time to celebrate. Yeah. It was kind of like it's like yippee, and then let's get back to work again. There was no time to even put the hands up. It was like yippee, and let's go. That's as much celebration as we can have. We got to regroup, and 3 games in 3 nights, and again. It's not so much the physical part of what we're doing right now. A lot of times it's the mental part, and they know. I didn't want to tell them the number I wanted, but I think they knew what I wanted, and they knew what they wanted. And so the mental thing about trying to get those points, you lose 3 points in January. It's like, okay, well maybe. But we lose 3 points right now, and it's a whole different concept. So the mental thing is something else that you have to think about. And when after Sunday, I gave Monday off, and today was kind of an optional, and just to kind of relax and get away. And we'll regroup tomorrow for this weekend. So a lot of it's not just the physical part in 3 games and 3 nights. It's the mental part. And the highs and lows, it's hard. You win one night and you go up, and then you have to get down again, then you have to get back up again. So as I said after Saturday night, I said, guys, one more game, regroup, and we'll see where we're at.
All right, we will take another break, and we'll come back and talk about Sunday's win. Thank you.
Quinn Services has been serving North Carolina for over 50 years, ensuring the safety and comfort of our customers' homes. We take pride in bringing together the best electricians, plumbers, and heating and cooling technicians to bring convenience and unbeatable value to our customers. Life can be hectic. What better way to simplify than to have one company you trust to take care of all of your home's repair needs? Since 1972, integrity and customer satisfaction have been at the heart of everything we do. We are proud to have built a name our neighbors trust, one that provides peace of mind and a service that can be relied on, today, tomorrow, and for years to come. Thank you for trusting Gwynn Services with your home. We are proud to stand behind the work we do every single day to serve our friends and neighbors here in North Carolina. We are Gwynn Services. One call does it all.
Being your best is hard. You gotta take care of yourself. You got your husband.
Let's put in a pool. For the kids.
For the kids. Forget the car. How about a motorcycle?
And if you own a business?
We need servers from, like, this century.
Yeah.
At a Legacy Federal Credit Union, we're committed to helping you be your best you. Whether it's with an unbeatable car loan rate, home equity line of credit, or small business help.
Who's the best?
Visit alegacy.org for our best rates.
I want to stop losing sleep over this. I want to know that surgery is the right decision. I want to protect what I've built. I want a plan designed just for me. I want to know that I'm in excellent hands. I want the latest and greatest. I want to continue to grow, no matter what life throws my way.
For the best surgical care, you want Novant. Novant Health. Best surgeons, amazing nurses, remarkable care.
Hello and welcome back to the Coach Harry Show. Thank you. Coach, we'll get into the Sunday game now and the win that got you those 9 points that closed out the weekend the right way. A little bit different than the first couple of games, tons of penalties. We saw some fights, and we got some questions relating to that we'll get to later. What'd you think overall of that game? We'll get into it here as you got the first three and got rolling again, but what'd you think?
Well, you always worry about the third game in 3 nights, how you're going to come out. And, you talk to a couple guys before the game, and they're a little sore, a little tired, or you're not really sure. And a lot of times when you're sore and tired, you play better. It's crazy, but you don't worry about trying to be this player or that player. You just go out and play, and so. But you always worry about it as a group, or the mental part of the game too. If they scored first, does that affect things? And so you're hoping for a big start and trying to get the things rolling there and trying to ease into the game there a little bit, and we did. And as I said, I like the way we started and continued.
So, continues into the second period. It's 3-0, then it got to be 3-1. Several times this weekend, you're able to put together streaks and scoring, 3 or more goals in a row. But there in the second and then early in the third, you start to really stretch it out. Ends up being 6-1. Dom here has a power play goal that we were just talking about a little bit in the break. Dom, what'd you see on that play, and what do you remember?
Honestly, I just saw a lane to kind of, step out and get a shot on net, and we were moving it well in the power play, but I kind of noticed we didn't have too much shots at that time, so I figured, this goalie's been making some good saves. Let's see if we can create anything here, and just kind of shot upstairs and got lucky enough it went off his stick and in. So.
When he came back to the bench, I didn't see it, and I asked him, and he goes, "It was a gorgeous goal."
Yeah.
he said, "You should have seen it, Coach. I'm sorry you missed it. You got to see the replay because it was beautiful." So I had to go watch it again. So, and now he describes it. I'm looking at 2 different goals.
It was one of 3 power play goals there in the game. Kramer got the other 2. We touched on this before, but once again, special teams was big for you. They get a couple of power play goals there in the final 5 minutes when it kind of got to be a little messy. But what'd you think about the power play specifically here for you on the weekend?
Well, that's going to be a huge factor. Power play, penalty killing. The power play for a long time was either hot or cold. There was no in between, and now it's I don't want to say we're hot, but we're creating chances. We're getting some opportunities, and we're scoring some goals. So the one thing there for a while there, and I always talk about the power play, you don't always need to score, but you need to create some energy. And you create energy by getting lots of chances and good puck movement, but a lot of chances. And for a while there, sometimes we'd get a power play and it would zap our energy. And as I said, lately, as you talked about, maybe the last month and a half, we've created some energy, and that's what we've got to do. And these next 6 games, that could make or break. You get a penalty, in the third period, the score's tied 2-2. That could settle the score. So it's going to be important coming down. And as I said, right now I like the way the guys have moved. Both power plays have done a good job. So hopefully we can continue that down the stretch.
Yeah. I think fans who came out this weekend got a lot of, what's good about hockey. If you like, high-scoring games and lots of goals, you got that. If you like more of a, low-scoring game, that was kind of where Saturday's game was. If you like fights, you saw some of those on Sunday. Coach, and that's where I'm going to go with this. Had a couple of fights. We'll have some questions about it that we'll get to. What'd you think?
Well, that at the end there, their player there, he was looking for something, and we have one guy, and they just couldn't get together, I guess, and so that didn't happen. And he's that type of player. Didn't play very much. In my mind, that's not the time to do it. Even their other coach came and said, I didn't send him out to do that, and now he's suspended for 2 games. But that's the type of player you have sometimes, and sometimes you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And he wanted to be a part of the game, and the only way he could really be part of the game on Sunday was jumping our guy. And as I said, it just when things are warranted, on Saturday night there when Garcia jumped, their player after he tried to knee Galley there. You know what I mean? That's a player defending his own player, and then 2 guys the same size fighting, and it wasn't. That's part of the game, and those things are going to happen. And that guy there, when you're a heavyweight like that, some nights there's no one to battle with you, and so you're a non-factor, and he tried to be a factor, and as I said, now that's why he's the next 2 games he's not playing. So not a great situation. The fight on Saturday night, I loved it. There was no issue. What I liked the most about the fight on Sunday was Sally got in there. Everybody got in there. I'm not sure who was on the ice, but I know Sally was in there. There was a couple other guys in there like that. So that's what I liked. I was more happy about that one. As I said, I loved what Garcia did the night before, defending Galley. Great job there. And as I said, so those things. But their players' actions on Sunday. If no one's going to go you when you're a heavyweight like that, you're a non-factor. That's how I feel.
Anything else about the Sunday game before we move on to fan questions?
Well, as I said, on the Saturday night I gave it a little wee, but on Sunday it was the big yay like that, and we accomplished what we wanted to do. Yep. We're still in the hunt. And, when I went in, I told the players what I wanted and stuff like that. It was good. And I think the guys were proud of what we accomplished. Are we a better team than they are? I believe we are. But again, to win 3 games in a row at home, it's not easy. I don't care who you're playing. It's to win 3 in a row is hard. And so, you watch the playoffs here the last few years. You win 1, you lose 2. The second one, now you win the third one, or you might win 2 in a row. But to win 3 in a row, it's not easy all the time. So I was proud of the guys. We got our points, and now it's time. We rested for a couple days, and now it's time to go back to work tomorrow.
All right. We'll take a break and come back and answer some fan questions. Thank you.
Maple Chase Golf and Country Club offers the best in recreational amenities in the Triad. Come enjoy a meal at the Pine Brook Bar and Grill, relax by our pool and cabana, and gear up at the Pro Shop while sharpening your skills on our 9,000 square foot putting green, and play around on our 18-hole Ellis Maples Design Championship Golf Course. You can find out more at maplechasecc.com. That's maplechasecc.com.
Flow Offer to Purchase makes it easy for you to generate an appraisal for a vehicle online in under 5 minutes. You can confidently use Flow Offer to Purchase to determine your vehicle's trade-in value or to get a real offer to sell it to us. Here at Flow, we've always had a transparent, interactive appraisal process that our customers love. We developed our Flow Offer to Purchase tool to offer you that same great experience online or through our Flow Garage app anytime, anywhere. Using Flow Offer to Purchase is simple. Either enter your license plate number or VIN, and the system will pull up basic information about your vehicle. Some vehicles have options or extras that need to be selected in order to pull an accurate value. Then just tell us about the current condition of a few things like your tires, dents and scratches, or mechanical issues. From there, a real offer on your vehicle, whether you buy from us or not, is just a click away. Just a heads up, our staff will check over your vehicle to ensure your Flow Offer to Purchase is accurate. Your satisfaction is our priority. Flow Automotive dealerships have processed tens of thousands of vehicles using Flow Offer to Purchase, which has resulted in buying many thousands of cars from customers. Try Flow Offer to Purchase for free today. You can access this tool by clicking Sell Trade on flowauto.com or your dealer site by starting the Sell Trade dialog in the center of the homepage.
That rumble you hear, that's us.
And hello, welcome back to the Coach Harry Show. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us. Kendall, Grayson, Coach Harry, and Dom Dumas with us this week. My favorite part of the show here, Coach. But first question is for you here. It says, what approach do you expect Athens to take this weekend, specifically with our games?
Well, they're going to come in here and want to win. When we were in this position last year. You want to make sure when you go into the playoffs and you've solidified a spot. You don't want to give up. You got the pedal to the metal, and you don't want to give up. And I know some teams like to give guys rest. I don't believe in that. I believe that the rest that I like to give players when I'm in that situation is if a guy plays 20 minutes, maybe he only plays 17 or 16, but you don't get out of your routine. Don't change. Because once the playoffs start and you haven't played for the 2 weeks or whatever, because the way we play with you take a weekend off, basically you don't play for 2 weeks, and so you want to keep the rhythm going and all that, and that's how they're going to come in here and they'll want to beat us. So they're not coming in here and handing us anything like that, and we're going to have to be ready, and we've talked about it. I'll be honest with you, for the most part, I like the way we play against Athens. And the one thing that we've got to do as a group, we can't give them anything. Like the last weekend there when we struggled, or when we didn't win the games there, the first night there we had 4 bad mistakes. And they scored goals, but they were mistakes that we can't make, and if we don't make those, we can play with them, and we're right with them. And the one thing that they do, they've taken advantage of when we've made up mistakes. And as I said, all 3 games, I can't sit back and go, well, there's no chance in whatever to win a hockey game. I know we can beat them, but the one thing we got to do is if they're going to score a goal, make them earn it, and don't give them any chances. We got to be disciplined emotionally, system-wise. We talk about that every day, and if we do that we'll give ourselves a chance.
Yep. Somebody said they were glad to see Schlepp get the suspension that he did.
Yeah.
And you've already spoken about this a little bit, but how do you like Garcia's style of play and how all that went down? I think you touched on that. But,
yeah, well, he jumped in. He did something on the Saturday night, and that was the one guy I guess he was targeting. Because that's what had happened. And Garcia, as I said, I like what he did. I have no issue. In fact, I applauded him for doing it. To stand up for your teammates, and then even during the fight there, that's a big guy. That's a heavyweight fighting a middleweight, and you don't have those situations. So that's why I was really happy that everybody jumped in.
There's a question similar with Garcia. I guess got his neck hit with a stick at some point. They want to know if there was another suspension or if it was just Schlepp.
Just Schlepp there, yeah, that's all. Yeah, Schlepp just got the 2-game suspension.
Okay. Yeah. Don, this is for you. What's new since you've been back here?
Well, in terms of hockey or away from hockey?
Either or, yeah.
I guess some new guys. Whitey, I got to meet Whitey. He's a pretty good guy. I've been, me and him been talking a bit. Some new faces for sure, even though not really. I played with Craig in Elmira, and then obviously I know all the other guys from Athens. So, just some new faces and a couple new restaurants, I would say.
Okay. What are your hobbies other than playing hockey? What do you like doing in your free time?
Big movie guy. I enjoy my naps, and then
as do I.
I guess in the summer I would say probably wake surfing and golf.
Okay. Yeah. What kind of movies? Anything specific? Genres or anything?
I like comedy movies. Okay. Me and Jack Johansson actually just watched a new movie on Netflix, War Machine. So that one was pretty good. He's a big war movie guy, so I've been getting into those lately.
I know you just mentioned the summer there, but what do you plan to do in the summer? You go back home, work on hockey. What do you kind of do during the summertime?
Yeah, both those things. I'll get a job somewhere and then just train and take some time off as well and enjoy the summer a little bit and wake surf and golf for sure.
Remember we were talking about movies a couple weeks ago, then I was supposed to watch some movie. You remember that?
I do remember
You remember
that.
what movie it was?
No, I do not. Oh, there we go.
Which one?
It's High School Musical. That's
High
right.
School
I do
Musical,
remember this
that's
now.
right, yeah.
I do remember
I
this.
haven't seen it yet. Okay. Here, just let me write that down. High School, yeah, okay, good, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. Just to let you know.
You've been busy.
I don't know if that was
Tom,
up
do you
your
have
alley.
any? Do you have any pets? That's the next question.
I personally don't. My dad has a dog back home, Snoop. I
Okay.
take him for walks and spend some time with him when I can.
Okay. You have a question about, how do you like playing? I think you already kind of spoke about that, being back here. Who's your best friend on the team?
Probably Jack Johansson right now.
Okay.
Well, they were close in Athens, eh? And,
Yeah.
then, and they, you get traded together, and you drive back here together, and and you live in the same house, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so, it's and JJ's a good guy, and as I said, so it's a good friend.
Who would you not want to room with?
On the road, that's what they're talking about.
Okay. On the road, I mean, I don't know. I don't really know. I don't really think anybody. I think I'd be pretty good rooming with anybody.
Or it's intact still. He didn't say another name, so we're I think it's 99-1 right now. Yeah. Nobody wants to room with Schnappy on the road.
Yeah, I can imagine that one.
It was 99. It's still 99-1, so that's okay.
Yeah.
What would you be doing if you were not playing hockey?
I don't know. Probably playing some other sport or something. I don't know.
Okay. Question about Angie's birthday. We do know it's Angie's birthday for the 30th time this year, I think. Do you have this one says, do you have a cat or a dog? We've mentioned that with the pets. Any siblings?
I do not have any siblings. I'm an only child.
Wow. Okay. How old were you when you first started playing or first started skating?
Probably 3 years old, I think. My dad played pro, so yeah. As soon as I could watch and mimic hockey, that's what I started doing.
His dad came by when he was here the first time, and him and I know quite a few. It was like he said a name and I knew him, and then I said a name and he knew him, and so we had a pretty good chat there. The nights he was here, so it was good to reminisce.
That's cool. This question wants to know why you wear number 19.
That's the number I gave him.
Yeah, exactly.
That was an easy one.
Yeah,
no, I'm kidding.
yeah.
I know you like that one. But.
Yeah. No, I wore it in, I used to be 52 for my birthday, and then decided that wasn't the best looking number on a hockey jersey, so I went with, I couldn't wear 99 because of Gretzky, so I wore 19 one year and had a good couple years wearing that, and then, I've always tried to have 9 somewhere in my number.
Okay. Speaking of movies, this comes from Slapshot, as we had a fan here who recently saw that one just last night. It says, what player on the team would be doing the dance routine after the game if you had to pick somebody?
Probably Schnapp, honestly.
There's a good chance
Maybe
number
Boots.
14. Number 14 might be.
Boots, Boots
I
or
think he
Schnapp.
might jump in there on that one too. I think so. There might be a fight. There might be a fight for that one. I think. Yeah.
Could be a good battle too.
Coach, these next are for you, and I guess sort of similar. This one specific asked about what did you say to the ref this past weekend when he was pointing his finger. Do you remember that interaction?
Yeah, they made a mistake. They knew it, and there's some nights when I've been around a long time, and the one thing I've always tried to do is show respect to the referees, and so when I do talk to them, usually some of the times when I do get upset is when they don't want to come and talk to me, and as I said, I've been around a long time, and as I said, the only time I got kicked out was I think last year, and I was just going like this on the bench. I didn't even do anything. I mean, I think they just wanted me out. So I've done a lot worse before and never got kicked out. So it's kind of funny. The one time I get kicked out, I didn't do as much as I should have, I guess. But some nights you gotta say stuff to the referee and tell them and how you feel, and they gotta take it. I think it comes with being around, and also it's how you talk to them. You know what I mean? And the old adage, you get more with honey than you do with vinegar. And you know, there's some coaches in our league and other leagues where it's, you know, they want to yell at them all the time. And you know, now when it comes time for you to actually talk to them, they don't want to talk to you. So I usually have pretty good rapport with them, and they usually know if I'm upset, then you know. But the last couple times when I've been upset, they've made huge mistakes. The one against Athens, you know, the one Kramer scored, that was a bad one. And then the other night there, he made a mistake. The linesman took it, and I give him a lot of credit. He stood there and took it, everything I had, and you know, at the end, I talked to the referee, and I said he took it pretty good. And he says I told him he was going to have to sit there and take it, so he took it. So.
Yeah. Speaking of saying things, we've got a question. You sort of addressed this earlier, but they want to know specifically, you know, what was said on Friday night between the second period and the third period, because it looked like, you know, all of a sudden 6 goals are on the board in the third. And anything, you know, special or different, or was it just, you know, results started happening for you?
You know what? The first line that went out there, you know, they scored a goal, and as I said, just don't change, stick to what we're doing, and we scored. And we made a nice play. I think it was like a couple passes, and you know, I think Galley put the rebound in there on that one. So you know, nice pass. Guy took a shot. The other guy drove the net. I mean, God, I wouldn't want to do that again. You know what I mean? That's kind of crazy. And I think the guys fed off that. So I give him a lot of credit. No, there wasn't anything you know, magical or anything like that. It's just, you know, you got to win a hockey game here, and we got to stick together.
The follow-up to that question is, can we package that and use it this weekend?
Well, yeah, that's going to have to be our MO this week. We're going to have to play tight. We're going to have to play the way we do for 60 minutes. We can't. There can't be a shift off. We can't. You know, the other time, I think it was the second or first game in Athens, we're up 2-0, and you know, we had the puck, full possession of the puck in our zone, and we lost it. And those are the plays that we can't give up as a group. And if we don't do that, then we're going to give ourselves a great chance.
Dom, tell us a little bit about your hockey career, where you've played. Obviously, fans know you're back here again, but where all have you been around playing collegiately, juniors, you know, anything like that?
I played a lot of juniors out in Canada, in the BCHL for a little bit. Played in the Null for a year. And then went back to Canada in Northern Ontario there. And then my freshman year, I went to college at St. Mary's. Enjoyed that there. It was a COVID year though, so didn't play too much hockey that season. And then sophomore and junior year, I guess, I followed 2 really good buddies of mine from back home to UMass Dartmouth. And then, yeah, I came here my rookie year, and then last year I was in the SPHL in Macon and Quad Cities, and then, and then I was in Athens this year, and then Coach Harry traded back for me because he wanted me back so bad.
We'll stick to that story.
Yeah.
Okay. In about 8 minutes when the show's over, I'll explain everything to you. Right now, I'll go with that. That's a good story. I like that.
Dom, do you prefer forward or defense, and why?
I would definitely say forward. I get, I think too offensively, I think.
Okay.
But D's pretty fun, though.
Yeah, you know, I put him back there the other day for a couple shifts there, and did a good job. And it's when a guy sees the ice and knows what to do. Yuri's really good at that. A couple other guys are good at that. I have some forwards that, you know, if I put them back on defense, I don't know if my heart could handle it. But it's a mentality that you have, and a lot of times it's not that he's better or whatever. It's just the way you see things, and it's a whole different concept. People think, play defense or play forward, but you know, all of a sudden now you're playing defense and everything's in front of you most of the time, and so it's different. When you get the puck and there's a forward, you're right there where all the action's going to happen. So it's a different game, and as I said, some guys see it, some guys don't. And as I said, if you do see it, that's a great attribute, especially at our level here, where like the other night there, like all of a sudden, Dom, I gave him the old, one of these like this. Okay, I'm back here, so that's all.
Dom, what's your favorite thing about being back in North Carolina, specifically here in Winston-Salem?
If you want to play Friday, let me hear it.
No, I think everything. Obviously, the guys in the room are awesome. I'll give Coach a shout out as well. It's nice playing for him again.
Power
Boosters,
play.
Yeah.
Let me write that down.
Yeah. Boosters here are awesome. It's a great city. I loved it here my first year. So I would say, when I did get the news I was coming back, I wasn't exactly that upset about it.
Cool. Sounds good. We'll take one last break and then come back and preview the weekend. Thank you.
Finish strong. Start here. Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist.
When you compete at your best, you need a team that keeps you moving. At Yadkin Physical Therapy, we're proud to be the official physical therapy provider of the Twin City Thunderbirds. From the first evaluation to hands-on treatment, we focus on what matters, reducing pain, restoring mobility, and building confidence. Because performance isn't just about recovering, it's about training smarter, strength, stability, balance, and control. Our therapists tailor every plan to each individual so you can return to the ice, the gym, or the job feeling stronger. The same level of care we provide the Thunderbirds is here for our whole community. Students, weekend warriors, and families helping you stay healthy and perform at your best. Yadkin Physical Therapy in Yadkinville. Call 336-677-1800 or email ypt@yadkinphysicaltherapy.com.
What a day. Rock and roll, let's go!
If you want an experience that wakes you up, a place where you can scream to your heart's delight, go ahead. No one will hear you anyway.
Yeah, let's go, baby!
Here, you don't just watch. You feel. Come as you are and have a damn good time. That rumble you hear, that growl you feel, that's us.
Hell yeah, boys!
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Coach Harry Show. Thanks for joining us tonight. Coach, we will preview the weekend here, just a two-game weekend, which is kind of nice to say after the schedule we've had the last month or so. I do want to say about the promotions, though. Friday night, NASCAR Cup Series driver Daniel Suarez is going to be there. The race is in Martinsville on Sunday. Martinsville is one of our corporate partners, and so we set that up. So he's going to be signing autographs similar to what Joey Logano did when he came earlier. Also, the Winston-Salem Dash are going to be there. Their mascot Bolt is going to be there Friday night also. So there's some promotional things. We've got Atrium Health Night on Saturday night. Atrium's one of our big partners. It'll be the final time this year that the Thunderbirds will be in the specialty sweaters. And we originally had scheduled to do those online. We're actually going to do them live auction after the game, just like this past Sunday. So want to let everyone know about that before I forget. But Coach, we got two games here against Athens. We've talked about it a lot. What's it going to take to get, not just one win on Friday, but go and do it again on Saturday, hopefully?
I'd like to say it's not a big weekend, but it's a big weekend for us. And I talked about it before. Our goal is to stay in the hunt, stay where we can be still relevant, and we need some points this weekend. It would be great to have it, and hopefully we get some help down the road too. That would help too. But we just got to go out and play, and we can't worry about anything else. The only thing we got to do is try to take care of our business. And if we play the way we can play without giving them opportunities, we're going to give ourselves a chance. I know the guys are going to be revved up this weekend. Two games will feel like a vacation almost, the way things have been going. So I know everyone's going to, as I said, I'm looking forward to tomorrow, see how we go. I think the guys are chaffing at the bit for this weekend, and two more games at home, which should be fun, and hopefully we have big crowds, which, as I said, even last week, pretty good crowds, but boisterous, and we start scoring those goals on Friday night, and then after the games and all that, and the Sweet Caroline, and as I said, you get all revved up. So I know everybody will be ready to go, and as I said, we're going to try and put our best foot forward for Friday and Saturday.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to mention here before we go?
Well, you know, it's a big weekend for us. Hopefully everybody comes out. And then Sunday we're going to have a little meet and greet at the Abbott's Ice Cream Place in Clemens there. So from I think it's 12 to 1:30. So hopefully somebody want to come out. And I told the warden we were going to an ice cream place, and I already have my order in. I put my order in a long time ago, but it's diet ice cream for me. Apparently, that's what I told the warden. So it's nothing too extravagant. But no, it's always a fun time to go there. But again, can't wait for Saturday, Sunday. Thanks for everybody coming out here tonight. And as I said, it should be a fun weekend.
Yeah. Dom, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you this weekend. Thanks again.